Welcome to the Horror Hangout, a podcast where film fans watch the best and worst horror movies of all time and talk about them. My name is Ben Errington, and today I'm joined by two very special guests, two of the men behind The Last Video Store, a meta horror nostalgia fest B-movie comedy that has its international premiere at FrightFest Halloween in London's Leicester Square on Saturday, the 28th of October, which should be today if this when the episode goes live. Welcome to the show. Star and returning guest Kevin Martin, plus director Tim Rutherford. Hello.
Hey Ben, thanks for having us.
How's it going? Thanks so much for joining us. Congratulations on The Last Video Store.
Thank you very much.
Yeah, huge congratulations. Before we get started, here's some details on the film. A young woman who is unknowingly in possession of a legendary cursed tape takes a collection of old tapes to a video store. She and the store owner reawaken its curse, which leads to the release of a raft of cinematic villains.
Pretty
much. That sums it up nicely, doesn't it?
Yeah.
I mean, I think the first thing I wanted to talk to you both about is that you've managed to experience the film with audiences already at Fantastic Fest, and then a recent sold-out screening at the Metro Cinema in Edmonton, the home of Kev's The Lobby DVD shop. How was that?
Tim?
That was mind-blowing to see all those people that have been surrounding Kev for so long to watch that movie and respond the way they did was, the reason why we made it.
Yeah, it was the theater here in Edmonton. It fits over 500 people, and it was full. It was completely full, and I've presented movies there over the last decade and a bit with our film festival, but I've never been the one whose movie was playing there at a film festival. And Tim can attest to it. I thought I'd be cool, keep it together, but when I got up there to introduce the movie, I looked out to the crowd. I just got all emotional. It was like, it could have been the booze too, but no, but it hit me. It was like everybody, in the city or in this community that has supported the store for the last 18 years was in there. And it was just, if we could have recorded the audio of the audience reaction as the movie was playing, it definitely would have been a bonus feature on the Blu-ray next year, because they laughed at all the right beats, and it was really surreal. It was once in a lifetime kind of feeling for sure. But also with the world premiere, I'm sure Tim can attest to, at being a Fantastic Fest in Austin, to have our movie played at the legendary Alamo Draft House was equally just as amazing on a totally different level. I'm sure Tim can talk about that.
Yeah.
Well, I'll tell you what, I definitely won't wear a suit in plus 35-degree weather ever again.
Oh,
no. I'd like to blame the heat for, sweating so much, but just being in front of that audience, kind of opening weekend, with this movie to kind of have it come full circle after 10 years of having this short premiere there for the United States premiere, and to come full circle and have Tim League introduce the movie was pretty nerve-wracking. So it's kind of nice to celebrate with the hometown crew. It's a little less kind of who's in the room.
Yeah,
most definitely. I mean, completely different experiences, I expect. And you got a couple of excuses for the sweat then as well, haven't you? Wow. I mean, and so the audience, obviously a completely different audience at the Draft House as well, I guess. So how did they react to it? Were they laughing in all the right places? Did they react as well as the hometown audience?
Yeah, definitely. It was, it wasn't 500 of our best friends. And it's nice to have those experiences. But I think we got to see it with our friends RKSS, the directors of We Are Zombies and Wake Up. They're two movies that premiered this year, as well as Turbo Kid, to much acclaim. They absolutely loved it. And, it was nice to have more familiar faces and the like the response overall of like Kevin's fan club in Texas was, every bit of as worth it as the one that already existed in Edmonton.
And another guy that really supported us down in Austin, I'm pretty sure you're familiar with him, Ben, was Jake West, who
Oh
finally got to
yes.
finally got to meet Jake, and he felt, I know Tim feels the same way. He felt like our surrogate uncle those days. Like he was with us, and he insisted on sitting beside me during the Austin premiere. He was the first one that not part of our group to hug me immediately, and he was also the first guy, aside from our other friends, to say like, don't worry, there'll be negative reviews. Don't worry about that. He quoted me the line. He goes, "My first movie, Evil Aliens. One critic called it Close Encounters of the Turd Kind. So don't let that bother you, And Jake's like, yeah, that meant a lot too, for sure. It was great hanging out with Jake, for sure.
Oh yeah, I mean, I saw the pictures of you guys there. I mean, it looked absolutely amazing. And Kev, does that mean you've got fan clubs everywhere you go? There's going to be a UK fan club there tomorrow night, right?
Oh, I hope Aaron is waving the flag big time for us tomorrow. I know he's going to keep me updated on every how the whole thing went down, like minute by minute play. I told Mike, it's too bad me and Tim didn't have all the money and free time in the world, or we'd definitely be there. I mean, the idea of our movie playing in London, England, that's insane. Like, like the fact that
Yeah.
we'll both probably be asleep, or no, I guess we'd be awake, and knowing that somewhere on the other side of the world, people are seeing the movie we made is pretty cool. It's kind of overwhelming, It's but it feels even more surreal because while this is going on, Tim's doing his job in Vancouver. I'm sitting in my video store here in Edmonton, dealing with customers and reminding movies are late, and somewhere in the world, people are seeing this silly movies. So, and then hopefully being re-engaged with video store culture.
Yeah. I mean, to be fair, you've called it silly a few times when I've been chatting to you. I think you're playing it down a bit. It's got so much heart and soul. And I feel like it's one of those films that if I saw that film in a theater of an audience, I feel like I would have got emotional. And I'm not like connected to the film in any way. I just feel like the emotional beats are really there. It's like obviously, yeah, loads of nostalgia, loads of B-movie schlock going on, but still, it's incredibly entertaining. I did really enjoy it.
Thank you.
Well, yeah, I mean, me and Tim been hearing like the people that have seen it. The thing that's really surprised me and maybe Tim as well is like you mentioned heart, and and we had like Tim mentioned that the Turbo Kid guys were there, and Johan, one of the directors, he goes, Kev, I knew I'd like the movie, but I wasn't expecting to feel feels and the feelings, like I think that might have taken people a little bit off guard, because it's been a lot of people saying that, which is lovely.
Definitely. I mean, I think it's the.
That's what Cody and
Sorry,
I
go on,
set
Tim.
out to do. Really, was to make a B movie with a lot of heart, like take all the parts of a B movie and like just because it's a B movie doesn't mean it has to be like a certain way. It doesn't have to be too satirical.
Yeah.
Because then sometimes it loses a little bit of that feeling, and it just I mean, I guess to us it's just like very relevant for Kevin and his life and the people kind of coming and going out of that and like their love of cinema. So for us, it was just a real like connecting with that moment and connecting with Kevin, and hopefully that comes across to your audience just as well. I've never been to a UK video store before, but I heard they're pretty awesome.
Yeah, yeah, man. I mean, again, few and far between, but still, when you get there, it's always run by somebody whose passion is in film, and I think that really comes across with you, Kev, and it really comes across in this film as well. And we just got to applaud Kevin's performance as well, because Kev, you've been on the podcast before. We've talked about Night of the Creeps. I've seen you in the short. I did not expect what I saw in the feature length film, which was amazing performance. Adds so much to it. It was incredibly impressive, man. I think you've got to be proud of that.
As time has gone on since the Austin screening, because and I even talk with the audience here in Edmonton, customers that know me. I had to ask them, like, did you find I was just being myself, or do you think I was acting? Like, oh, you were acting, you know?
Mm.
And then watching the old short films, the 10-year progression, it's like I think I've mastered this character of Kevin, the video store clerk. You know, it's always a blur of reality and fiction. Maybe we should have called him by a different name, but then I probably would have forgot that name anyways. So, but
you only answered to Kev.
yeah,
Like,
that's it. It makes it easier for my directors on set too.
Yeah,
Yeah.
I mean, what percent is that character you then? Is the crossover pretty much entirely, or is there 10% here and there?
I'd say it is me, but it's like a heightened, exaggerated, like version of me. You know, the part at the beginning of the movie where I'm describing the movie She's Returned and how fired up I got about these movies, that's probably 100%. I gotta be honest. It's like if a kid comes in my store now and tells me they haven't seen Friday the 13th, the final chapter, I'm like, oh baby, you're in for a treat. You know, like I will go off on tangents big time. So
None of that was in the script, that first part of the film.
Yeah.
oh,
He was
geez.
just ripping on the titles. You know, he just picked the movies up and started ripping, and we were just like, "Oh, this is
Oh
good. We
man,
should get that." Yeah.
the
Yeah.
titles, the like fake movie titles as well. I mean, some of them like fleshed out in such a way where I was like, I want to see a full length version of this. This is a great concept.
Yeah.
Were there any that got like left on the cutting room floor? Any that you wanted to include?
Oh yeah, so
Fake movies?
many. You know, there's like I know Kevin is quite remiss to be deprived the cutaway to Battle Bear. You know, maybe one day later, but you know, there's a few of those, like, you know, we have the whole series, like Viper's like entire career is kind of like fleshed out and
Wow.
into all these like separate movies. And there's like a lot of other ideas floating around. That's why we've been like talking about TV show is would be a great way to continue the story and you
Mm.
know kind of take Kevin's character to other places and like other movies like that because yeah, we just get so obsessed that Josh Roach and the co-writer, myself and Kevin, and then like Cody will sometimes just like come up with an entire movie idea and then be like, okay, well, like how do we show that in like 2 minutes? Like how do we like sum up this movie's entire plot in like
Yeah. Was
few
that
Yeah,
minutes?
like
And then
I kept thinking, was that like a really challenging part of the film, showing those short snippets of the movies? Because obviously, most of the movies set within the confines of the video store. However,
right.
these movies, they feel like there must be so much more that has to go into even showing tiny snippets of them.
Well, yeah, I mean, really, because we hadn't quite fleshed out the scenes themselves, it was important that, because we do take a lot of like, you know, like liberties with the like on-set kind of energy and Kevin just riffing, it was really important that like some of the movie cutaways kind of matched what we were doing on our side. So we just wanted to make sure that we could edit those to a point where like, okay, now let's flesh out the scene itself. I mean, which was a great way to approach that to ensure that you kind of keep that rhythm through the scene. But you know, it cost us a fake TV screen having to be replaced like on the TV, like at all times. So there's a way like overloaded kind of backside to this that unfortunately I wish Cody was here to speak to it because he had to endure all of that doing the editing and VFX like all himself. So that's like you know, kudos to him for getting
Wow.
that to
All the
feel like so fleshed out.
all the VFX himself, is that right?
Well, almost all of
Mostly?
them. Like some of the major pieces were done by Matt Satchel.
Okay.
He did like the Prey Stalker design and like
Yeah.
the big animated pieces. But Cody did like a lot of the replacing and like all of that background himself, like
Yeah.
with almost you know no
And
team. So.
I like the inclusion of the sort of CGI alongside other sort of effects was good as well, because that definitely made it feel like a movie of that era. I mean, it was almost like sort of like late 90s Starship Troopers CGI going on, wouldn't it? But
Yeah, totally. Well,
which
I
was
mean,
great.
one of the big inspirations was ice spiders, actually.
ice
Um,
spiders.
Oh
Oh
wow,
wow.
yeah,
okay. I mean,
Speaking of the
ha-
gate,
how did the idea like blossom from the short? So the short was 10 years ago now, isn't it? And then the video store commercial, is that is that supposed to be connected in any way, or is that just kind of like another thing that
well, I mean, it's kind of like the genesis of this project because taking that to South by Southwest kind of became the movie itself, which is why there's a commercial in the movie as well. It's kind of like tying that all around. Like the
Oh yeah,
character
of
is
course.
basically the same. And
Hmm.
also from our web series, the Straight to Video, which is
Cool.
8 episodes about 8 minutes long or something like that. And some of these characters, that's where they were born, like
Yeah.
Oh
Casper
wow, okay.
and
Yeah.
Viper has another movie that he's in.
Yeah, Ben, if you haven't seen Straight to Video, check it out. We can send it to you. It's on YouTube, but it's the
Mm.
same idea, but it was instead of in the store, I get sucked into the TV and I'm bouncing from one bad B movie to another, including Beaver Lake, a Viper Jackson movie, Prey Stalker. So we just did the opposite with the movie because we couldn't afford to film on multi locations all over the world for that idea. But
Yeah.
yeah, that was the biggest genesis, I think, was the web series Straight to Video. Yeah.
Mm. So I guess there were lots of creative ideas across the web series, the short, and the video store commercial that all kind of like came together for this feature length. Is that correct? A lot of ideas that is that how it kind of took shape?
Yeah, I think as soon as we did the commercial and we, did South by Southwest, again, Cody edited that for like a year.
Mhm.
We got into South by Southwest, and that guaranteed our path into Frontier's film market in Montreal as a part of Fantasia. So we got to go and pitch the movie, and then a few years later, they gave us the money. So I guess we were still kind of like riding on those ideas and just let them like gestate in the like, well, how do we like realistically tackle this? Because like going into each movie, like, a multiple location shoot for, under $1 million these days, it's gonna be like it's gonna look a certain way. And we were just wanted to make sure that we could control our environment and let the like story and the people and the kind of ideas and the creatures that come out of the TV kind of resonate in the shop itself.
Yeah, I
Amazing.
think we just wanted to make a movie about a video store where the video store itself is the star. A
But it
lot
was
of
you,
movies.
Kevin. It was you the whole time. We realized that they're the same.
Oh, exactly. That's what I was gonna say. It's symbiote.
One and the same.
I'm like Sam Neill from the Event Horizon, baby. She won't
Yeah.
let me
Oh yeah.
leave.
We're other stuff.
Yeah.
And so are you going to be stocking the last video store in your video store soon?
That for me, yeah, that'll be the circle of video store life complete. I don't know when, maybe sometime next year, whenever, however it hits physical media. It's going to be very weird though, because I'm pretty sure I'm going to have to pay for it like I pay for all my other movies I bring in. So that might seem a little
Yeah.
bit vain, where I'll be like, hey guys, I need 200 copies of this movie. Yeah, but yeah, I've already had customers all week. When's it coming out? When's it coming out? We saw it in the
Wow.
theater. I'm like, uh, you know, sometime next year, perhaps. So we
Are there
won't.
any plans for any sort of other release apart from physical media as well? Any streaming plans or anything like that?
Well, I hope to have really great news for you in a month or so. So, um,
I mean, that sounds
you know,
positive to me. That sounds positive.
conversations. Yeah, well, it's definitely, I think it's definitely got a place on some streaming platforms, and we'll definitely have physical media released through a Canadian distributor. So
Amazing.
that's very
Well,
exciting stuff.
well,
Maybe
keep.
even maybe even a limited edition VHS version. Who knows?
I mean, it has to be, right? It has
I
to be.
think. Mhm.
As long as that tape isn't cursed in any way,
Cursed.
there's
Yeah, well,
absolutely
it'll
that's
just be in the
absolutely fine.
special features, like the full ritual.
Yeah.
So if
Oh
you
God.
want to, you can. You got to give people options these days, or they'll just look it up on the internet.
Yeah. uh, so obviously premiering at Fright Fest tonight. Well, tomorrow night, sorry, Saturday the 28th. So our audience members, if you're attending that, obviously check that out. It's a 8:30 p.m. I think on Saturday night, isn't it? Which is amazing. Like, to think, not only that, it's going to be on like the biggest screen. We attended FrightFest in August, and the screen is ridiculously big. We're in the second row, and I don't think my neck is fully recovered from the weekend I spent there. But so yeah, that's amazing. Obviously, our listeners should definitely check it out, and obviously we'll keep them up to speed with the release of it in the future.
Now I'm really upset we can't be there. You know, the biggest screen. I'm like, oh no.
I'm sorry.
That's fine.
I'm sure you'll get a chance to see it on an IMAX screen another time.
That's too much me.
That's too much me. Exactly. So yeah, we'll keep our listeners up to speed with the release of the film as well. But yeah, again, congratulations to you both on the movie. It's a great time. It's really fun. I think our listeners it's definitely going to be right up their street. And yeah, and Kev, you'll have to join us for another episode soon. We'll have to do.
Oh yeah, man. We got to pick a movie to talk about for sure.
We do. We should definitely do one before the year is out. And of course, Tim, you're welcome anytime. What was that?
Ice spiders.
Ice spiders. It's gotta be ice spiders. Where can everybody keep up to speed with you guys online, with what you're working on and what's going on next? Have you got any social channels?
Yeah, you can keep up with me as Dinosaur on Instagram. I'm an avid follower of Kevin and many video stores. So support your local video stores. And with that, Kevin.
Yeah, I'm pretty easy to follow too, Ben. You can find me on Instagram. It's Video Store Kev. You can also, follow what's going on at the Real Video Store, the Lobby DVD Shop. Website is thelobbymovies.com. If you're on Facebook, there's a group page for the Lobby DVD Shop. Even to your UK people, I do mail outs, even overseas. If there's something they can't find, I'm the bounty hunter of cinema. That's my goal in life. I will track it down for you. The complexities of my store are matched by two titles that are my number 1 and 2 bestsellers of the year. Number 1 being Cannibal Holocaust, number 2 being Spice World. So go figure.
Go figure. Something for everyone, especially UK audiences there. And I have to give testament to the Lobby DVD Shop Facebook group. That is like my go-to for, oh my God, I haven't seen that film in years, or oh my God, I haven't seen that film in forever. So I enjoy your constant now watching posts, Kev. They're really good for me.
Got to jog the memory. Yeah.
Got to jog that old memory. Yeah. So thanks everybody for listening. If you enjoyed the show, become a patron over at patreon.com/horror hangout. Thanks again for joining us, Kev and Tim. And again, congratulations on the last video store.
Thanks.
Thank you. Thanks for
having us on. See you guys soon.
Man.
No problems. See you soon. Bye.
Yeah.